physical fitness, and we created the first annual FTM Fitness World Conference last year, and then we want to rebrand it to TheStrongStance for the third year, so that we can show that it's also open to trans women and not just trans men, so that we can have two different tracks and things like that. So the reason I started FTM Fitness World, honestly, I started it for me. I wanted to help myself stay accountable with my own fitness goal. I started the group FTM Fitness on Facebook. About 5 people or in the group. We wanted to stay accountable with our fitness, and within a few weeks it grew into over 800 people, just because I realized then there were not many FTM fitness groups. And so when I did that, I started a group. I decided to also start a blog and a website. I am not a fitness expert, but I love to read and I can do some research. So that's what I did. I did a lot of research and I rewrote it from the experience of a trans man and how we can help other people. Hopefully what I find they don't have to find it for themselves, right, and they can just have a resource. And also when I started to drop ship and sell some t-shirts to be able to cover the website cost and things like that, that's when I started the business FTM Fitness World officially. And I mean, the website itself, I had to do a lot of blog, WordPress. I learned how to code. I stayed up all night. Sometimes, it was a hobby, and I became very passionate about it, and it was a lot of work, but it was just this fire in me that was like, this is pretty neat. Not only I'm learning new skills, but I'm doing something, for the community that I didn't realize it was going to impact people so much. I realized it when I started to receive emails, not just from a lot of trans guys here, but from trans guys all over the world. Literally, like in Asia, in Africa, in the Middle East, in Europe, everywhere. I was receiving emails related not only to fitness, but also just people telling me their story. And with the stories, I realized that fitness should not be the only focus of FTM Fitness World, right, even though I had already called it that. And this is why I said it was fitness for the mind, body, and spirit, because I realized that one of my favorite topic, which has always been emotional intelligence, I realized that it was lacking from the perspective of, in trans spaces, we like to talk about fitness, we like to talk about sex, and then we talk about money when we have to raise money, for surgeries and things like that. But we don't talk about the baggages that we carry from our past lives into a new life. We look great, we feel great, but sometimes inside it's still a mess. So I wanted to create something that could make a trans man, I was focusing on men at the time, into a well-rounded individual. And I figured the conference would be great to do that. At first, I thought, well, maybe one day. And then I started receiving so many emails of people asking recommendations of where they can go compete without being discriminated against, or where they can go compete, like even though they have scars, or even though they don't have surgery or things like that. And so I started a poll. I created a poll, and I asked people, in the FTM Fitness group, I asked, what do you guys think about having our own bodybuilding competition? And a lot of people said that would be amazing and things like that. So we did that. Well, at first, I won't say, yeah, they said yes, so we did that. No, it didn't happen like that, of course. But I said, you know what? Actually, that works out, because we could do that conference, and then the highlight would be the bodybuilding competition. And of course, it's like that idea, but there's that fear, and I'm like, yeah, maybe one day. Sure, yeah, one day. And then I realized that if I keep saying one day, it will never happen. Yeah. Especially when I started to notice that a lot of trans people were discriminated in the entire fitness industry, not just in sports, in sports everywhere, not just in the bodybuilding competitions, but everywhere. So I decided it was probably the perfect timing to do it then. So with only a few months left, I gathered a few people over at my place, and I said, "Come on, let's try to put it together. Let's make it work." And it was very stressful. It taught me a lot of skills, whether I wanted to or not. But it was totally worth it because people still had that space that they came, and it was a space. It didn't matter where that space was. They didn't care where it was. It was just the fact that, wow, we actually have something like that, and I hope I can come back next year. From the pictures, they could see, wow, a bodybuilding competition just for people like me. I'm definitely coming back next year. So, yeah, that's pretty much the vision. That's how it started.
So what would you like to see this event look like next year? In your mind, when you look a year into the future, what does this event look like for you? I mean, other than the 2 tracks, I mean, for growth or for new sessions or for new competitions or events or whatever, what does that really look like for you?
Well, not just for next year, but hopefully even bigger and better for future years. I want to see us express more in some way why it's important for us, even more important for trans men to even want to be into bodybuilding or to take care of their body, because I can relate to that myself personally more than I can relate to regular bodybuilding competition for cisgender people, because I can see why trans men would want to do that after finally starting to love their body. And so I kind of want to be able to show that image. I don't want it to grow into how the traditional bodybuilding world grow into, where it's the image, it's the physics and stuff like that. I want it to be where we also touch the stories, and we touch the individuals, and we touch the people in the audience. And because as much as we need that foundation to create this space where we can invite people from outside to come and watch a show, this is great, because as much as it grows, then we can have that space to also use the opportunity to educate those people on what it is to be trans, because some people might not know what it is to be trans, but hear about this amazing competition and come see a show. But if we can still touch them and educate them, that's how we can change the world. That's what I'm hoping.
So do you have a date or a weekend yet picked out for next year where we're looking at, when this is going to be?
Yes, I actually do. It's going to be here again at Ramada Plaza, and I'm hoping to do it on October 6, 7, and 8.
October 6, 7, and 8.
I want to keep it where it's the first weekend of October each year.
Yeah. So we've talked to a number of people that are getting a lot of things out of this conference, and even talked to some presenters about, why they felt it was important to present here, why other attendees feel it's important to have conferences like these. And obviously we want to know from you, like, where this idea came from and stuff like that. But even though you're so giving of yourself to this conference, like, this is, your baby, and it takes a lot of your energy and yourself. And I know that you have also a great staff, but I'm sure that you still get something from it. So what is it that the founder of this gets from this conference every year? What do you get from this conference?
For me, I feel that I get more than everybody else because I get a lot of growth throughout the year. Because it's easy. I've gone to conferences before, and I'm a believer in events. Whether that's trans related, whether it's spiritual related, whether it's business related. I love events, I love seminars, I love workshops, I love things like that. And every time I go there, I feel great, I feel amazing. And then I go back on Monday, my life starts again. It's like, you have to kind of like, okay, remember the notes you took? Or remember this and that, that's I like to stress that to people. But for me, it doesn't end, because that drive, that inspiration that I got by having people who liked it, who enjoyed it, who got change from it, who connected with other people and things like that. That tells me you gotta keep pushing. That means when I go back on Monday, I go back to work to make it better. So for me, it's kind of it's pushes me to keep my commitment, to keep my hard work, to keep not just my word, but to keep waking up in the morning and thinking, wow, I have a bigger purpose now. So this is what this is doing for me. It's really giving me a lot of growth.
Awesome. So in your ideal world, what do you hope that people get out of this event? Like, tons of people are coming in, they're spending time in these sessions. What do you hope that they really walk away from this conference with each time?
Each time, it's really, this is why I really want to keep stressing that there is a theme each year. It's not always easy to implement it, even though I try, but eventually it's going to pick up. But the theme that I wanted to have this year is the warrior within you, because I wanted to teach resiliency and the characteristics of a warrior or things like that. And what I really want people to get, if they miss anything and they forget anything that they learned or they took notes, I want them to learn about community, sticking for each other always and being there for each other, not making it just about you, but also about how you impact your whole community, and just growing from that. There are a lot of conferences that stress that. The stress community, and the community sometimes stays to just for the event, during the event. But I really want people to actually be able to look at a person and hug a person. Hi, my name is so and so. How are you? And by the time they finish the conference, they hug them for even longer and say, I can't wait to see you again, or let's talk next year, or give me a call when you need something, or wow, I can't believe I know so many people that are trans in my town, but I've never reached out to them, or things like that, right? Just the idea that there are people out there that are like me, that could learn from what I've learned from this weekend, and if they cannot come here, how me living my life can impact them in a positive way. That's what I hope.
So that's our show for this month. If you'd like more information on the FTM Fitness Conference, or if you'd like to donate to make next year's conference even better, you can go to FTMFitnessConference.com. I'd like to thank Will, JB, Owen, Alexandria, Liam, and Neo for taking the time to share their thoughts and experiences with me during this great event. As always, I'd like to thank our listeners for tuning in. If you're inspired by this event and you just can't wait until next year to connect with great trans folks at a similar conference, the Peach State Conference is coming up fast on Halloween weekend, and it's also located in Atlanta. For more information about this conference or to register to attend, head over to www.thea-plus.org. That's www.thea-plus.org. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next month on The Strong Stance.